I do not like cats. All that purring and rubbing up against you is just a facade, and you're only ever seconds away from the hissing and the claws. Soft and cuddly? Not a chance. Cats are the embodiment of evil, and Gori is here to prove it.
Gori. The perfect pet. It's cutting time, mother!
So this one is apparently a synthetic cat, but that doesn't matter, they're all the same. Just look at it, massacring magical unicorns. What's that you say? The unicorns are mutated toys who've wiped out all the humans.
The ugly corn.
Don't believe a word of it, it will have been the cats, and this is all just their propaganda. Still, if you are going to gratuitously dismember mythical rainbow beasts, it may as well be done in style. And this cool cat is a skater with a sentient hoverboard. Oh yeah, and the board has huge blades as well as a rocket launcher and can grind on hologrammatic rails in mid-air. That is pretty cool, it has to be said. And there's a photo mode too, so you can immortalise every blood-drenched series of tricks and spins.
Take a photo, Gori.
Gori Cuddly Carnage actually sees another implementation of the advanced photo mode blueprint from the Unreal Marketplace. That's the same base module found in the likes of Deliverer's Mars, Atomic Heart, and the Talos Principle 2, so many of the features will be familiar to some of you. It's available at any time outside of cutscenes, and there is a quick access shortcut assigned to the touchpad on PS5. In theory, that's a great way to jump straight in during the fast-paced action, but it does fail to trigger sometimes when other button presses are going on. The camera itself is free to move and look in any direction, with intuitive use of the analog sticks and triggers, and roll also found on the photo mode UI. My only real complaint is that each input moves with different speeds. For example, truck and dolly with the left stick are nice, smooth and steady enough for fine adjustment. The right stick, however, moves too quickly, making pan and tilt very twitchy, especially when zoomed in. Camera range is decent though, and you should have no trouble finding the right composition within the relatively tight environments. There's also a clever little innovation in that the photo mode UI, which is nicely skinned to match the game's art style by the way, will automatically disappear whenever you move the camera, giving an unobstructed view. I can't actually think of another example of this offhand, and it should be a great feature, it's just that it hasn't been fully thought through. You see, the UI also reappears as soon as the camera stops, which can cause a distracting flicker as you tweak a composition. But the main issue is that it even comes back if you've manually turned off the UI by pressing square, and it doesn't let any settings be changed while it is hidden. Funny how a well-meaning feature can become as annoying as, well, not as annoying as a cat, but somewhere close.
The nights are so cold.
I also really wish that someone would think about the order of the tabs in this photo mode. As is always the case when this blueprint is used, the depth of field and focus settings are separated from the other camera options that are likely to be used together. Please, just put them next to each other. That is a minor complaint though, and the manual focus does at least work well, with a simple focus distance and aperture f-stop values to control the depth of field and add a defocus blur to the foreground and the background. Notice too that the depth of field gets shallower at longer lens lengths, i.e. a narrower field of view. It's just as it should be. Some of the main strengths of this module are undoubtedly in the rich colour grading and image effect options, most of which you will find here. That means you get saturation, contrast and gamma, or none as it's currently named, each with full RGB control. Just be aware that a quirk of these is that they affect complementary colours, so increasing the green saturation will also take magenta up with it, for example. On top of those, there's also brightness, temperature and tint for comprehensive colour control, as well as a bunch of filters that are unusually locked for now, at least so far in the demo. Film grain and vignette add some imperfections, and even chromatic aberration, a feature that I probably do dislike more than cats, actually works well here. The crude RGB channel separation feels somehow in tune with the vibrant and chaotic visuals, and it's nice to be able to limit just how much of the frame gets affected. In terms of more unique customizations, there's not a huge amount extra to mention. 3 game logos can be moved through 9 preset locations, characters, enemies and particle effects can each be hidden, and the vertical or horizontal bars can be tuned to any colour with 3 RGB sliders. There's also a custom light feature. Well, it's just a camera flash actually. It can't be moved separately and isn't very bright. It's nice to have, but it's really only any use for close-ups. The biggest piece of personality probably comes in the form of faces for Frank. That's Gori's expletive favouring hoverboard. The 64 designs include various moods, logos and even damage that can be fun to pick through. It's just a shame that the little display screen can be hard to see in most shots. This game features a synthetic cat in human-like skater clothing riding a weaponized and slightly insane hoverboard
I got some new toys.
as they team up on a murderous crusade to eviscerate mutant toy unicorns. What more is there to say?
This is awesome.
In-game photography often serves up unique opportunities to capture images that you're unlikely to find anywhere else, and it doesn't get much more unique or unlikely than this. The over-the-top action and abundant carnage, cuddly or otherwise, is complemented by the brightly coloured visuals and plenty of gore. Every fight is drenched in blood and scattered with dismembered body parts to make sure that Gori really does live up to his name. If that gets a bit much for you, then there's always the optional purple juice mode that swaps the blood for, I don't know, blueberry smoothies or something. It's not the default, but I actually think it works better with the overall art style and the excess of rolling unicorn heads that you'll see scattered about the place. Capturing that fast-paced combat can be a little tricky at times, though there's no shortage of chances to try. There's also a host of stylish slides, grinds and spins to enjoy as you explore the colourful streets, factories and messed up carnival spaces. And wherever you do go, you'll find the levels filled with those killer unicorns and big bosses that are definitely totally evil. Or so the cats would have you believe anyway. Gori Cuddly Carnage is a game jammed with style and over-the-top action that certainly offers something unique to shoot with a virtual camera. The photo mode may be a standard module and doesn't boast many novel customizations, but it works well enough here to let you do just that as you slash through the madness on offer. I still don't like cats, but I'll happily admit that this one is actually pretty cool.
Was it as good for you as it was for me?